So I'd like to introduce Carrie and Kyra, both from OSAC, to give us the FAFSA and ORSAA updates for the year.
All right, y'all. Sorry, when I did the screen share, which can I get either a verbal or a thumbs up that y'all can see FAFSA, ORSAA? Awesome. Oh, and we got some stamps, little heart love on the slides. I see you, Jen. I see you. So hi, everyone. Sorry, when I started sharing my screen, all of a sudden I lost where my Zoom controls were and I couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. So, you know, is it Monday, Thursday, Saturday? Who knows? My name is Carrie Thomas. I am with the Office of Student Access and Completion, and I do a lot of the strategic outreach and coordination related to college access and completion. And I am presenting today with my fabulous and esteemed colleague, and I will give her a moment to unmute herself and give a brief introduction as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kyra King. I am the program administrator for the Oregon Promise Grant and the ORSAA application. And new school year, new FAFSA ORSAA. So let's do it.
New. That is the theme this year. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and click through a couple of slides. I am very interruptible. So if I say something and you're like, what was that? Where do I find more information? I have this question, etc. Please do feel free to interject. And then Adrian, I'm assuming you're probably watching the chat. So if you see something on there, feel free to interrupt as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cruise on through. So some of y'all might already be aware about some of the FAFSA updates, and we just wanted to start off by sharing some of the details as well as where you can find some more information. So the first thing I wanted to share is related to selective service and drug conviction questions. So in December of 2020, the FAFSA Simplification Act went into effect, basically, and this is going to be a slow rollout to get from the decision that happened last December through to the full completion of having the questions completely removed. So I've just kind of listed what's happening at each different step. And ultimately right now we are in that 21-22 award year. So if any of y'all are working at institutions where you are awarding aid, at this time, basically the questions and the comment codes are still visible on student records, but you are to disregard the questions related to selective service or having a drug conviction while being a recipient of Title IX aid and eligibility, or Title IV. Why am I just blanking all of a sudden? Roman numerals. Apologies, y'all. And then in the 22-23 award year, the questions will still be on the application. So as you are working with students who are filling out either the FAFSA or the ORSAA, they will still see the questions. They do not need to answer them. If they do answer them, the answers will not affect their aid eligibility. And then for the 23-24 award cycle, those questions will finally be removed from the application. So that's just kind of a step down process. One other change in that 22-23 award year is that the comment codes will be adjusted to tell institutions to disregard the answers to those questions, such that if a student fails to register for selective service or receives a drug conviction while having aid, they will not lose their ability to have aid in the future. And then I've just included a link here below where you can get more information. This is a federal student aid change and update, and this is a really great portal to go to sort of figure out what's going on and any potential updates with FAFSA. We also have the information about the verification process being suspended. That was a decision that was made in July of just this year for this current award cycle. Now, I haven't heard anything about the future yet. Adrian mentioned that she might have seen some whispers or something. So we're going to do some investigation after this college talk. And then if we find something different, we'll make sure to get that information out to y'all in the future. But essentially, the U.S. Department of Education has announced at least this year a reprieve in the financial aid verification process. They have said that they will focus solely on verifying the FAFSA status for anyone where they suspect identity theft or fraud for the 21-22 application cycle, but all other types of verification will be suspended. And as we know, this is going to significantly reduce barriers for students who are often in the highest need, which are the students who are selected more frequently for verification. And then this was news that came directly out of the Department of Education. So that's definitely the first place that we go to look for any potential updates there. And within the HEC, we haven't heard anything about whether or not this will continue going forward, or whether or not this was sort of a one-time reprieve as far as aid verification. But as soon as we find out, we will definitely let y'all know.
Hey, ORSA updates. So everything's on track for us to open up the 22-23 ORSA on Friday, October 1. So the same day that the FAFSA opens. If you're not familiar, the ORSA is the application for undocumented DACA and temporary protected status students in Oregon to apply for state and local financial aid opportunities. On our website, we have a pre-filter quiz. And so we always encourage staff who are working with students, you know, kind of having that conversation and easy icebreaker of, all right, let's do the FAFSA ORSA, which one are we going to do? In this pre-filter quiz, the student can go through and it'll either pop out, I need to do the FAFSA, I need to do the ORSA, or I am eligible for neither of these applications. And then we just have a lot of resources on our website about how to complete the ORSA. We have tip sheets, videos, guides, all that shenanigans, and everything is translated into both English and Spanish. So definitely visit our website, which is linked at the bottom of the slide. That's our FAFSA ORSA page. And then if anyone has questions, students, staff, any of you, we have a general ORSA contact email here, and it's also on our website. So if any of you or if students or anyone have questions about the ORSA, feel free to email us and we'll get you some help. But yeah, no major updates. All of the questions, if the FAFSA makes a change, we have to make the change. So all of those are taken care of, but there are no big question changes for the 22-23 academic year. So it should all look pretty simple, pretty good.
And I see a comment from Jen Satalino. It says, sadly, verification will be as usual for the 22-23 academic year. That's interesting because it wasn't listed on the U.S. Department of Ed's page, but it's in the Federal Register.
It's in the
Jen?
Federal Register on September 1st. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take
And
a
it was
look at that.
a very
afterwards.
sad day for many of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And then updates to the FAFSA ORSA challenge. So just a quick 30-second nutshell primer. The FAFSA ORSA challenge experienced 2 years being co-run by a couple of different agencies and entities across the state, including Office of Student Access and Completion, ODE, Oregon Department of Education, Gear Up, OSFA, and is that it? My brain, I know several of you were on the call. I think that's it. Basically the first 2 years have been pandemic years. And so it's been a little bit of a challenge sort of getting the FAFSA and ORSA challenge into a sweet spot of running and whatnot. So this year, OSAC is going to be moving the FAFSA ORSA challenge completely under our agency. A couple of things that you will note. So the FAFSA ORSA challenge is no longer housed on the Gear Up website. And we are in the process of, just imminently getting a new website that's going to be rolling out from OSAC. We are hoping within probably the next week and a half to be switching that over. And then all of the FAFSA ORSA challenge information, publications, and then data resources will be facilitated on that webpage. And we're still doing collaborative support and operation of the challenge. It's just that it's going to be changing on over under the OSAC umbrella. We will still be facilitating the reporting. We hope to be able to make that even more robust potentially in future years, but at the minimum, we will continue to provide what percentage of your high school seniors have submitted either a FAFSA or ORSA. We do not separate those out. So what the report looks like is what is the overall percentage number of your high school senior population that has successfully submitted one or the other of those financial aid forms. And then we update that report at 3 points throughout the second half of the academic year using the Department of Education's data to sort of verify which students are which. Oops. And then we will also encourage sites to use any of the historic data. So you can access the reports actually going back for 3 years because the first year was sort of a setting year, so sort of establishing what the current rates were. That is also the only year in our reports that does not have a pandemic represented in the filing numbers. So that I think we're going to see some interesting things happen with the data as we sort of absorb and become used to some of the different challenges related to pandemic education and outreach. We will also encourage folks to establish current goals for themselves as they're coming into this next year, and you can use those historic reports to help with that. And then OSAC will establish a statewide filing goal as well that will be informed by our historic data, as well as what we're looking at on the horizon. We will also have FAFSA ORSAA Challenge materials available for ordering through the OSAC website. And like I said, we're really hoping that by the beginning of October, we will have that up and running. And then FAFSA Plus, which is a tool I think some of y'all are familiar with, but that is a tool where once you become a FAFSA Plus site, that can be for public schools, private schools, community-based organizations, anyone who's doing a significant support for high school seniors who are filing their FAFSA. You fill out a privacy form and get some training from us, and then you can upload a roster of your students and then get weekly student level data as to which students on your roster have filed or have not filed, and then if they have filed, if there are errors or anything like that. So FAFSA Plus is going to be a tool that we're going to feature as part of the supports for the FAFSA ORSAA Challenge. And then our just big parent URL is not changing, so OregonStudentAid.gov. And then we'll actually be having a whole FAFSA ORSAA section on our website, which will be a new addition. So just go there in the near future, and I'm going to share some information about how to stay in touch with OSAC in a future slide, where we'll also debut information about when the website is available. And then for presentations and publications, so with things sort of up in the air with COVID, and I saw Jen also indicated that Reynolds is going back online starting next week. The state of Oregon has made the decision not to do sort of in-person commitments at this point related to presentations. So we are offering whatever we can and whatever you need as far as digital presentations. And you can just go to our website and then click outreach, and then you can request a presentation. We have a lot of flexibility either in providing sort of some presentations that are common requests for folks. We can also give those presentations on weekends, in the evenings. We can co-develop a new topic. You know, we can co-present if that's something of interest to you as well. We have a lot of sort of flexibility there because we still want to be able to continue to meet the need. And in some ways, going digital allows us to have even more of a presence related to giving presentations. So if you're working with students in a classroom setting, parents, if you're working with folks who are working with students and you want to facilitate a training and have some of us come in and talk, please do feel free to access that option. And then we have several publications that are available for order as well. And all of these publication materials are completely free to you. And you know, opportunities to get new posters to refresh your space, handouts that you can use in class, etc. And then if you ever need something that you want co-developed, let us know. You know, we're here to sort of help you. And if you're having a challenge, that might be something that we can co-develop a material that can benefit folks more broadly across the state of Oregon. And then for getting connected, we do have some updates related to our media presence across OSAC. So historically, we have had Facebook and Twitter for Aspire and for OSAC. We are streamlining that down such that we will only have an OSAC Facebook and an OSAC Twitter. Those two social media accounts will be geared towards practitioner information. We also started an Instagram this past summer, and that is a student-focused social media channel. OSAC will also be facilitating a monthly newsletter. So if y'all have interest in getting onto our newsletter, please feel free to, pop your email in the chat and we can scoop those by the end of the meeting, or you can also send me an email and I can grab that and get you onto our monthly newsletter. And I see David Tovar put a stamp on here. Does that mean you want in? Yeah. All right, sir. And then we also have our YouTube channel. So we have a lot of tutorial videos and FYI videos that help people sort of understand what some of our different programs are, as well as walk through some of our different applications. So those are some of the best ways to stay connected with us. And then we are just constantly trying to work towards building out more student-focused content as well. So if you have an Instagram page, you can go ahead and follow us and share stuff forward on your pages as well. And we also, try to share y'all's content as well. So that comes to the end of my spiel. Does anyone have any questions? And I can also
there's a
flip over
question in the chat, Carrie, about if a school is having a FAFSA or ORSAA help night for families, are you able to attend, or is that considered a presentation?
Yeah, so Lacey, probably one of the best things to do would just be to submit that request on our request a presenter. But if you don't want to have a formal presentation, you just want to have an expert attend your event, just indicate that, and then we can make sure to get someone who's able to attend. And usually what we do is once you submit something on the website, we'll connect with you to figure out the details, pair you with an appropriate presenter, and then they'll be in touch to either co-develop content or make sure that we understand what it is that y'all's needs are for the event, so that we can bring, the content or the expertise that's going to really make your event what you're hoping for.